Hey guys, welcome back. Hey, waka waka, hey. It's time for Africa. So, in case you didn't know, today we are talking about Africa. It's related to what we've been talking about, but let's review our plate boundaries before we get into that. Okay, I don't think it's going to let me go full screen. That's okay. So, we talked about the 3 types of plate boundaries yesterday. The first one is a convergent boundary. That is when one plate runs into another plate. Most of the time it forms a mountain or a volcano. Then the next type is a transform boundary. That is when they rub up next to each other. We get earthquakes there. And then our last type that we're talking about today, is a divergent boundary. Okay, so that's when they pull apart. So you need to make your notes look like mine. Here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Ooh, that was a little too much, wasn't it? Yeah, that's good. So they say the physical processes and continental drift, are constantly changing the Earth's surface. When Pangaea broke up and the continents moved apart, they didn't stop moving. Africa's Great Rift Valley, a large crack in the Earth's surface in eastern Africa, is the longest split caused by divergent plates tearing apart in the world. Cool. So then I drew some geographic and geologic features that we're going to talk about today. I drew an escarpment. I drew Lake Victoria. I drew the Kenya Crack, the Divergent Boundary, the Victoria Falls, the Lake Turkana, and Mount Kilimanjaro. Over millions of years, Africa will break in half along the Great Rift Valley. This picture will be posted in Google Classroom, so don't panic if you can't see it. So this is page 6 in your journal. So if you need to pause it and then get your notes set up for today, do that now. Okay, so today we're talking about the Great Rift Valley. The Great Rift Valley. Yeah, it's a really cool place. It's in Africa. It's the largest rift in the world, and we're going to learn all about that today. I'm going to move me over here, there. Okay. We're going to skip through all of this and get you to what you need to know. First thing we're going to watch, though, is we're going to watch a quick video. And I want you to focus on what we learned yesterday and see if it's accurate. Sorry, it was really loud. Hold on. Oop, we're having technical difficulties. Please hold. There it goes. So is this accurate to what actually happened? Watch what happens to the continent. Okay, so was that accurate? Is that what caused continental drift? Is that what Alfred Wegener said happened? Pretty sure it's not. It's not. That's not accurate, but it did have some accurate things to it, right? We'll talk about those. Some of the accurate parts were Pangea. Pangea was there. That was accurate. But how it split apart? No. Especially not how quickly. My goodness. Okay, so a physical process. We talked a little bit about that last this whole week, actually. So some physical processes that you know about are volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and more. Okay, so as you know, it's a change in the land's features caused by nature or the earth itself. Examples, as I said, volcanoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis. This is a tsunami happening. We see evidence of an earthquake here, and we see evidence of a volcano here. Okay, so continental drift, we talked about this last week and this week. Continental drift is the gradual movement of continents across the Earth's surface caused by shifting tectonic plates. See? Continental drift. Let's take a quick cartoon break to discuss what we just learned. So this one says, well, looking back, it's been going on for quite some time. But I only noticed we were drifting apart during the last 50 million years. See, they're in counseling and they're drifting apart. I think that's pretty funny. Here's another one. Earth, we hardly recognized you. Have you had plastic surgery? No, that's just my continental drift. Here's another one. Here, I'll move me out of the way. Hold on. Let's get out of here, or the continental drift will catch us. It's funny because it takes millions of years. Pangea was a supercontinent comprised of all 7 continents combined that existed 245-ish million years ago. We have fossil evidence of it. We've learned about this yesterday. A rift valley. This is new. A rift valley is a crack or split in the earth created by tectonic plates pulling apart. You learned a little bit about this yesterday when we talked about divergent boundaries. So when a divergent boundary pulls apart and new land is bubbling up and formed, sometimes it causes a rift valley, which is that big crack in the earth. An escarpment happens when it happens in stages. So you get these big cliffs. So you've got like cliff, 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 cliff. I drew that. See? Hold on. There you go. See? There it is. An escarpment. Right? Oh, wrong hand. Right here. That is an escarpment. Happens at a divergent boundary. Today we're talking about the Great Rift Valley. You're going to have to watch a video on it. It is super cool. So the Great Rift Valley is a large crack in Earth's crust in eastern Africa. It was caused by, I'm so sorry, it was caused by the movement of plate tectonics and plates, and it created the longest rift valley in the world. It's a big divergent plate boundary, and you can see here, see, look at this big crack in Africa. So here's Africa from outer space. You can see this big cut in the ground as it's starting to tear Africa apart. Crazy, right? Let's talk about some of the geographic features there. These are the things I drew, and you need to pick at least 3 to draw. 3 geographic features. You can draw Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is really cool because it's on the equator and it's covered in snow. Which is cool because the equator's hot. Then there's Lake Victoria and Lake Turkana. These are cool because they're surrounded by volcanoes and they are carved out and filled with water because of the Great Rift Valley. Ooh. And then there's Victoria Falls. Woo! We learned about that. Victoria Falls and our natural wonders of the world on page 1B in our journal, Natural Wonders of the World. We learned about that. Victoria Falls is really cool. It spills out over into the rift, into that crack in the Earth's surface. So here you can see the Nubian plate and the Somali plate are the 2 plates we're talking about today. They are diverging and pulling apart in the directions the arrows show you. And you see all these volcanoes that show you right along that activity line. Anytime there's volcanoes, there's probably plate movement. And you can see here the yellow parts are areas that are the Rift Valley, and that is the area of the world we're talking today. The dark green is areas that are considered Rift Valley but less affected. But they're going to be majorly affected in the upcoming millions of years, because here's Africa today. Oh. So here's what happened. Lava bubbled up and pushed on this surface, causing a bubble. Then it started to sink in because the land got thin, and it starts to, this divergent boundary, they're pushing apart, so it's causing this big crack in the Earth's surface. So as you can see, Africa is being torn in half right there. So in the future, in a couple million years, we'll see Africa looking like this. This is a video I need you to watch. I'm going to post it in Google Classroom. Your ticket to be counted here today, like I've been doing with code words, your ticket today from this video is you have to write something that you learn about camels, something you learn about the salt mining, and something you learn about the fishing industry. So you have to write about camels, salt, and fishing. In order, it will actually go salt, camels, fishing. Okay? One thing on each of those. Salt, camel, and fishing. You got to write what you learned from this video in order to be counted here today. All right, we're going to watch this video really quick.
A massive crack that's up to 50 feet deep suddenly opened up in the ground in Africa. It's already 65 feet wide in some places and growing. The crack stretches along Kenya's Great Rift Valley. Many scientists believe it could end up breaking Africa's continent apart. Deborah Pata is tracking developments from Johannesburg, South Africa. Deborah, good morning.
Good morning. This massive crack is similar to other geological formations like the Rio Grande Rift Valley in the US, but here in Africa, scientists are divided as to how it came to be. Imagine waking up one morning to find a massive crack running through your home. That's what happened to Elliot in Njuguna, forced to dismantle his house by hand before it was lost to the earth below. He lives in Mai Mahiu, part of the Great Rift Valley in Kenya, a region that has already provided a treasure trove of some of the most important archaeological finds in history. And this latest discovery is so significant, scientists predict it will be the fault line along which history is made once again as Africa splits into 2 continents. Although that won't happen for a very long time, says geologist Ben Andrews.
Fortunately, this does not occur instantly. So we're many tens of millions of years away from having two continents.
The crack in Kenya sits along the 3,700-mile-long East African rift. Geologists say that rift is growing larger as two tectonic plates move away from each other. As this movement continues over the next 50 million years, a large chunk of the continent will eventually split off, creating an island that will consist of parts of several African nations. Scientists, for the most part, agree that the continent is splitting in two, but there is debate over exactly how this most recent fracture was revealed. Andrews believes the Earth did not suddenly split in two, but that it formed over hundreds of thousands of years.
It looks like it was probably something that already existed and had been filled with ash and other material, and then it was flushed out by recent rainfall.
The rains have indeed been heavy in Kenya over the past month, and some geologists believe this crack formed during those torrential downpours rather than over years of tectonic action. Liana?
Yeah, that's a big debate going on, whether it happened overnight or over thousands of years. Never happened.
Whatever the reason beyond it ain't good.
Yeah, no, you don't want your house to be in the middle of that crack.
But right. You have 50 million years to plan. So
for the island, right.
Okay, so I want you to just kind of imagine this part. So you're going to imagine you're a YouTuber, right? Or a TikToker. And for the past 6 months, you've been living in Kenya, making vlogs and TikToks about current events in East Africa. You wake up early one morning by a frantic call from a local. They report that people are abuzz about this giant crack in the earth that appeared suddenly overnight. You rush to the scene to investigate. This could be your chance to go viral, okay? So your job is you're going to design your own thumbnail. Woo! So I don't mean like this, okay? A thumbnail is the thing you click on, like the picture of the video that you click on when you go to YouTube. Or you could design your own TikTok about what you learned today. Something digital. So, or you can just draw a picture. So, and then put that into your journal for page 6 today. If you did not draw, like I did, the features of the Rift Valley. Don't forget your ticket to be counted here today is to watch the video that will be posted below this video, and make sure you write your 3 things. 1 about a camel, 1 about a salt lick, and 1 about the fishing industry. Make good choices. Know your love. Happy homecoming. I will see you on Monday. Bye. Do, 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 do. Go Rattlers, do, 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 hey. Go Rattlers.